for instance, if you send emails to UK and to Netherlands with the same message, it just doesn't work. UK needs a lot of fluff, a lot of praise. Netherlands, straightforward.
How do I know that I have found a good target segment? 3 things what he has discovered. First,
If you speak to everybody, it means you speak with nobody.
and they said, no. We are not building something for a big boys. No. Forget it.
Why it's hard to focus is because you think that you're going to lose the time if you focus in one certain area. Welcome to Playbook for Sales and Founders, where unknown heroes share how they entered new markets.
Learn practical advice from those just 2 steps ahead of you. Our next unknown hero is...
This episode's unknown heroes are Diana and Kalev. Diana, you had case where you were super happy that one of the startups actually took your advice, which you give to all of them, but most of them don't take it. And the advice is focus. Focus when you're early stage. Try to focus as fast as you can on one segment. Tell me, what's the background? How did it happen? And what was the result of them taking your advice?
Yeah, usually what I say is if you speak to everybody, it means you speak with nobody. I do say it every time when I'm mentoring early stage startups in sales. And this case was really interesting because it was kind of the same as everybody. I'm sending out so many really good emails and I have 0 replies. A lot of openings, a lot of clicks, but nothing. They're actively waiting.
And you say they send that out to everyone. What does it mean?
They were sending emails to US, Germany, France, UK, the same email with the same sequences, with the same message, and they even didn't select the size of the company. That's what I mean, sending everyone.
And do you know what happened? What was their focus after they had the epiphany that, hey guys, let's try something different. Let's try to focus it. Which target did they choose?
What they did next was that they were sharing the emails, what they were sending. And when I was reading through, I absolutely understood. There wasn't certain pain that they wanted to target. There was really blurry information that we're doing something amazing and definitely good for you. But they didn't target any pain. But what we did differently is that they were selecting what kind of emails they were sending in what type of companies, company size, and the countries. And I think country really matters. So for instance, if you send emails to UK and to Netherlands with the same message, it just doesn't work. UK needs a lot of fluff, a lot of praise. And Netherlands, straightforward, you don't have to have the fluff. So it just doesn't work. You need to know what countries you're targeting and how is the language there, how is the culture there, what they're expecting.
And the results were pretty amazing. That within a month or so, they increased their sales 4 times. And the interesting outcome was that they killed 2/3 of their products. So they started with 6 products, offering 6 products. They ended up offering only 2 to the target segment with the same pain. It was a good example that if you don't know which one of your product's feature sets you should focus on, instead of approaching it from a product side, approach it from a customer side. That which pain you see that you can target the easiest, which resonates and gets the best open rate, and then you pick and choose which functionality actually helps to solve this pain the most. And I guess now we can go to why is it so hard? It sounds super easy. If you look at internet, lean startup, all these like gurus, everybody says focus. Investors are saying focus. Everybody's saying focus, but nobody's doing it. So there must be a very good reason why very smart people who have studied the startups, they don't follow this advice. What's your opinion? What have you seen? What are the fears? Why don't people follow focus?
It's easy to say because I have been the person as well who is kind of everywhere with my own company. So I understand the pain. So it's super easy to give advice, just pick one segment and just target them and test them out. But the fear of missing out is so big because startup, the greatest value is time. because you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money, so you need to be effective. That's why you want to target everybody. As they said that they were sticking on with a few features, that's really good thing to do, because I know a lot of startups know that, okay, I can help with the bigger company, but that language, how to speak, is so different. So that's why it's really hard to pick, because I know I can help both of them. I know I can help small companies, bigger ones. And then when you have to choose, usually they want to target the biggest one. So why I have to do 20 calls to small companies when I have maybe one big company and I can take it? Going back to finding why it's hard to focus is because you think that you're going to lose the time if you focus in one certain area.
And I think you spotted a very important issue also. The big guys have longer sales cycles. And the startup, you have to show that sales are actually happening, which means that you focus first on the bigger ones because they seem to be more profitable. But at the same time, as the sales cycles are so long, you have to do some sales. So on a sideways, you do also selling to the small ones because they actually can close in a time and so forth. And that's why you have this schizophrenic situation that ideally, yes, you would want to focus, but you don't have time to wait until the big guys close, especially if you don't have investors who are used to these enterprise sales. And most investors are not. Most investors are like in SaaS type of sales, very fast 3-month sales cycles. They understand that. If you have sales cycles of a year and a half, then they don't understand it. And so that could be like one reason. Then you really have to decide that in which type of business you are. Can you afford very long enterprise sales cycles? Do you have enough funding for that or not? And second, if you decide that I go for small and medium-sized guys, then say no to all the big ones. There was one guy I met who was from UK, early days of internet, and they were doing security for enterprises. Internet security. They were one of the first starting doing it. And they decided that our market is US. And even though a big enterprises approached them, hey, could you offer me the software? They said no, because it will take us the focus of our real customers, the real market. And they said no to the UK because in their terms, UK was not ready yet. But after 5 years, they started to service UK also. But until they got there, when the market was ready and ripe enough, they didn't service. They said no. So it's super hard to do. This is one thing you said, that I'm afraid that I lose time. Yes, you're kind of right that you don't know. You have 3 targets, all seem equal, 3 countries, let's say Germany, UK, Sweden, and you don't know which one is the best because you just started by all the metrics all look the same. So you should go after everyone from one hand. But at the same time, if you're, as you said, with UK and Netherlands example, that the language has to be totally different, and learning and understanding of what's the language, what works in different countries takes time. And if you try to learn 3 things at the same time, you slow down, which means it's better if you do this sprint approach with 3 months, 1 country, 1 target segment, and you try to learn from these guys as much as possible. And then decide, is it good enough or not? Should we pick the second target? If you're afraid, then you can do 80-20. 80% of your time and your team's time and salesman time goes to your primary focus. And on a side, you test out with a 20% of time, the second best segment or target. And you can start comparing already that, hey, is it good enough or better, or what's the situation? And so maybe this is a hack how to avoid this feeling of I lose time.
It's a really good advice, but it's not always working. If you go back the small and big company, how to choose when you have a certain focus. I don't know, I will take only small companies. I will build something only for them. The language is different. The pain is different. But for my own experience is that our focus was early stage founders who want to first time hire. And we kind of disagreed all the agencies. We thought that they are too expensive, can't afford them. We wanted to have, like, everybody has a good experience with recruiting, and we thought that freelance are the best way. But when we started to do our business, we saw that's absolutely different. It's not the case. And then we learned with our clients market better. Our first hypothesis actually didn't work. So we adapted. To be honest, I have 4 times written our ideal client profile or buyer persona. It's fine if you change, but we can't target founders and bigger companies like HR managers. The language, the message, the value proposition is so different. So that's why we had to choose. And for our surprise, we decided to target HR managers. We still had a focus, but we were willing to rewrite our client profile. We were willing to kind of change everything. The idea of targeting like 80% need to focus and 20% just in case that 80 doesn't work. If you have one salesperson and he or she has to do, it is too hard to do. Mm-hmm. Definitely, it's good when founders are targeting the 20% of it. But usually when you hire a salesperson, so now there's a thing. I'm not sure who is our target audience. So let's try to sell everybody and let us know who is our target audience and what kind of features they want and what we have to improve. But this is the reality, how it works.
Do you see it actually working? This is how many startups hire a sales guy, but does it help you to find the focus?
I think every salesperson who have been working with startups can relate that. So we have this amazing product, so help us to scale. So we want to sell everywhere. And you are a really good salesperson. That's why I hired you. Put the targets, measure your own workflow, and build automated emails, same time marketing, and then help us to find the focus. We think this is the client, but we are not sure. So this is kind of your job to figure it out. This is really common. This is absolutely really common. And I think that's the hard place to be as a salesperson, because what you expect is some kind of target or some kind of focus, like which one I should target.
Have you seen that this actually works in terms that does it help to get the focus, or at the end of the day, it is still that founders have to decide? The sales guys can make suggestions and bring information from market, but at the end of the day, they can't make decision for the company that where should we focus and where should we go.
I think it's really complex, to be honest. It's not only founders and salesperson. There are product managers and developers as well in that pile of decisions. For instance, a really good experience what I had was that we had this bigger long-term service, very custom-made for the bigger clients. It took year and a half to close one deal, and then we started to build it. It's really long-term commitment. And then, as you know, that the investors, they don't like those kind of long-term sales process. They don't really understand it. We need something fast. So decided to do something different for the smaller companies, and something like plug in, plug out, without making it really difficult to develop. So what happened is they had 2 amazing products in there. They weren't sure exactly to whom to sell, what was the target. So we had 2 choices. We can cold call, start to connect different companies and say like, hey, do you want this product? Do you need this product? Or there's another chance. What we actually did is we started to do product framework to understand information from the client without selling it. Just understand what was the pain with different segments. And then we decided, okay, we can see that this is the place where we should put the focus more, and let's test it out. But we did discovery calls with sales. But to keep in mind that they already had really complex service what they were providing. And that took so much effort from the developer side. It was already another conflict. We want to make this small product scalable, but we need to develop it. But all the resources are going to go to the really complex. Again, really hard decision. They are not the only one who are facing that. What should we do? Should we close the big thing that works and focus on the smaller one? Keeping both of them are super difficult and hard. And the sales process are so different. Usually when there is something smaller, the sales process is much faster. Selling to companies that there are so many gatekeepers, it took so much effort. And meantime, you should do the small sales. It's really hard to switch.
So it's a complex issue in real life.
Enjoying Playbook for Sales and Founders? Follow us on LinkedIn and join our exclusive Slack community to connect with founders and sales pros for tips and updates.
You have one sales guy, maybe one founder who can do sales, one is technical founder. You have identified more than one business opportunity on the market, and it's super hard for you to validate beforehand which is the right one. And I totally agree with you that listening to a market, yes, focus, but keep open mind. Is there something else? Is there something which is better? Can we test it out? Lunch with Askly founder Joosep Kõljalg, and he said that they were first targeting segment A, and Kõige customers like from segment B came to them and, hey, serve us. So what you do is cool. And they said, no. We are not building something for a big boys. No. Forget it. And there was like 2 or 3 of these guys coming, and they said, no. And then after 4 months having these calls with their target primary A segment, they understood there's no money in this segment. The pain is there, but there's no money. They don't have any budgets, and they are not going to get any budget. But then it was, okay, we have these guys, we reject it. Let's go back to them. As they came knocking, they must have like money. Let's check them out. And so this is how they now are targeting a different type of, using the kind of same core logic, but different type of segment, different type of tools, and different type of business. Keeping this open mind, what I liked was that they went in deep into this segment A. They try to understand what's the logic, how big is the pain, how the budgets, and so forth. And the second example from Andrus Purd, the founder of Outfunnel, he recently made a post that instead of solving 4 different problems in terms of email marketing and online marketing, they decided to focus on one. And I asked him, why, like, what has changed? Why did you decide to focus now? Basically, he confirmed that his assumption was that if I solve only one problem for on email marketing, it's too little value, and I can't get people to pay for it. I have to offer the full package, and only then I create enough value. But now, over the years, he has discovered that if with a very small team, he tries to spread the team to across solving all the problems what these customers face in the 4 totally different areas, then it's too little. You can do all these MVPs, but when you try to turn them into products, then it takes more resources than you have. As you said, that if you try to sell everything to everyone, then you sell nothing. You don't create value. And that's why, like, with a small startup, small team, focusing on one area of the pains and becoming the best in solving this piece of a puzzle, that after several years of trying, he decided that the focus is actually a good thing. But he tried
Can you imagine? It takes so much time. So that's why it's weird that people are thinking that, I don't know, 3 months is too much focus on one group. Some companies take years to understand the real target, the real value, what they're offering. So I think it's really good example what you brought about Outfunnel.
And actually, you reminded me that those who want to see how long it took for the big boys like Airbnb and Dropbox and these guys to get their product market fit or find the ideal segment, the target group, then Lenny has done an analysis of that, how much time it took for different guys to get to product market fit. And roughly, if I remember correctly, average was something like 3 years. There were guys for whom it took like 6 years to find out where to focus. So yeah, spending 2 or 3 months in terms of 3 to 5 years, it's time well spent if you become smarter and you learn something that what works, what doesn't work. How do I know that I have found a good target segment? So I really like what Martin Christiansen, founder and CEO of FleetFox, what he said, that there are 3 things what he has discovered, that especially if we're talking about mid-level or enterprise level customers, that how do I understand that I have a product market fit or very close to it? First, the C-level is willing to spend time with you. They come to meetings. There's many of them want to communicate with you, and you can get the next level guys to the next meeting. You start from a mid-range and go up to a C level. The second is that they are willing to forgive you your mistakes. That you've totally with early stage, you fuck up something, your product doesn't work, and so forth. That they're willing to forgive a mistake because the problem is so big that they want you to succeed and help the service. So, and the third is that quick wins, that they can make money with your product. They actually see that it helps the KPIs, and in money terms, it's easy for them to understand what it means. So these three things, what Martin said, that how to understand, is it the right segment or not?
What was my takeaway? He said he made a pivot.
Yes.
He knew the target, so he knew that there isn't a lot of clients, but he knew exactly who was the clients, and they were targeting in one client in Germany for 3 months. That's really brave move to do. This is my client. I definitely want to close this client, and took the effort to do so. What was really good about it, he was supporting salesperson all the way through. And I think this is a really good takeaway. If you have the focus, if you know you want to have like certain client to support your salesperson all the way. And he said that he was leading the meeting with CEOs. And I think that's is a really great experience, because I have had opposite experience when I got a meeting with really important people. I was there alone, and even the CEO didn't come and support me in this process. And I think it was super difficult for sales to go through that all. Support your sales, put the focus. He said so beautifully, like when they decided to focus in certain companies, so they had to let go all those companies that were already using them. So they were kind of grieving the old company. And I think this was really beautifully well said, that it's a baby that you have built for many years, and kind of say like, thank you, but no thank you. And we're building something new. It's super, super hard.
Yeah, exactly. What I like to highlight is that FleetFox decided to focus from B2C, helping average Joe and John and Mary to wash their car as a service. They focused on car sharing companies. There is only 300 of those in Europe. Only 300 targets, nothing more. It's a total market. They have like bigger vision how they can grow out from there, and so forth. But first, imagine that in your case, that your list is only 300. That this is the level that you have to focus. That I believe this case of the first German customer is 3 or 4 months. It was the time it took them to have a meeting with a CEO. It wasn't like closing the deal. It was have a meeting with a CEO to understand what are the criteria of a CEO of a target company that he would sign the contract. Actually, it took like 6 months to get the contract, but to get the first meeting in 4 months, that was the target for the sales guy. And this was what you described, that when the sales guy had gone through all these levels, has met all these like below guys, and then was a meeting with the CEO, he said to Martin that now you have to come. And Martin came and he led the meeting with the CEO. He was up to date, what has been told before. So he wasn't like just pitching his product. He was talking about in money terms, what it would mean for this particular customer. And this is like a beautiful way how you can delegate to the sales guy the specific target. The opposite way of what Martin also did, that in order to understand these customers, that being there in early negotiations in Estonia with car sharing companies, that he was there like with all the meetings, because he wanted to understand and also learn with the sales guy, especially if you hire your first sales guy, that in order to them to be able to be effective and focused on a segment, that you have to lead the first sales, and because you are the fastest to answer all the questions what the customers have. And this is a kind of learning I like to see in startups, that the founders does the first 10 sales themselves and takes the sales guy. Even if the sales guy is senior in selling your stuff, they are junior. You are the experts. They are juniors. Exactly. No matter what the pedigree they have, how many years they have done sales, selling your product, they are juniors. In the beginning, you have to go wide, listen to the signals. Who are the guys who knock on the doors randomly? And is there a market, or are they just fluke, just random walk-bys who are just curious?
Like three advice that you will give to the listeners, how to put down the focus.
So my 3 suggestions are: focusing helps you to speed up. So doing sprints, like 3-month sprints on one segment, one target, one pain, and validating it. That is it big enough to have budgets? This is the fastest way. Like trying to learn multiple customers at the same time, super hard. Second, you have to kill your babies. That the As an example, with Diana's startup, they had to kill 2/3 of their product features. And the same for you. Be ready to kill. The same with FleetFox. They had to kill like 80% of their customers. And third, accept that most likely you are wrong with your first focus tries. And smart people like Andrus Purde and our guys, Martin Kristersson, they were wrong with their first focus. And that's totally fine. You're not alone. It's super hard. It's one of the hardest things about building a startup, like finding a problem worth solving and finding who has it. Where's the focus?
Who has the money?
Who has the money? Yeah, who has the money? And also that what makes it harder is that where you can dominate as market category leader, which are the segments where pain is real, the budget is there, and you can dominate the market with your solution. Don't be afraid of proving yourself wrong. Anything worth learning or doing, it is usually hard. So what are your three?
I'm going to share something that I have done, how we change the ideal company profile or customer profile all the time. So we took companies that already are using our service and who paid the most. Did we see any patterns there? And then we were focusing on those two different patterns. But in our website, we decided to go with the bigger company that if they are coming to our website, this one sentence is the pain that they are most feeling, because small company pain is different. We had two segments. And it came the information from our customers who were already using us, who were already happy with our services. And then finding a focus in expansion. So I know it's really common if you want to go to other countries, and just pick 3 countries or just one country and do a sprint like 30 days and have a look what's happening there. I think it's really important that founders are helping this process, not saying to sales like, go figure it out. It's really common that founders do. I think sales should say like, okay, what should be the target? What do you think that will be? We should test it out, not just go in the battlefield alone. And I agree 100% that if you're targeting or putting focus there, you can change it all the time. That's normal. That's fine. One person has one pain and there's one solution, and just keep your mind on that.
Thank you for listening. And I hope you picked up at least one or two things. Subscribe to our LinkedIn, Spotify, or YouTube. Thank you for joining the show. I am Kalev.
I'm Diana.
Until next time.